What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is Tuesday. It is December 11th. It is about 11:05 a.m. What's going on? I'm a little bit late. I was still getting some stuff together there at the very end. And guess what, folks? I have not looked at anything news related. I have no idea. There could be Half-Life 3 might be available right now. You know, maybe the Vive Cosmos has been announced. Who knows? You know, who knows what could have possibly happened? Haven't looked at any of that. So I will go ahead and check that out a little bit later. But we got some other stuff to get into today. There are a number of things on the docket. Obviously, at a certain point, we are going to get into the games of September 2018. The best September games as we continue to move along in the year of our Lord 2018. We are looking at the creme de la creme of the crop, so to speak. We're looking at all the best games of 2018, and we're going through it slowly but surely. And the nice thing about it, I know, don't call me Shirley, but the nice thing about it is we're really taking a close look at this stuff. This is not something that we're whipping up in a matter of 15 minutes and saying, yeah, this is game of the year, that's game of the year, blah, blah, blah. We're really going through this, and we're looking at all the best games of 2018. In fact, by the time that we're done going through all 12 months of this year, we're probably going to have like 40 different games that we're really kind of taking a look at. And the game of the year is going to come out of that. And our top 5 games is going to come out of that. And different games that win different categories, they're going to come out of that. The best developers of the year, they're going to come out of that. Everything is going to come out of that. And so it all has purpose. It all has meaning. So we're going to continue to bang away on that type of thing. Let me go ahead and get my chat popped out so I am in the mix over here. Shirzad Khan City says 2018 is so yesterday. Well, you know, I mean, that's one way to look at it. Sure. We're starting to see shows crop up, and I know VR Roundtable, we're probably going to do this maybe later this year, where you start looking forward to 2019 and you start making predictions about 2019. What is the game of the year for 2019? You try to predict it right now. What are the big hardware arrivals in 2019? What are maybe some of the scandals that are going to happen, the kerfuffles that are going to happen in 2019? And we're going to get to that as well. I mean, we're going to do all of that as well. So it is all Giznud in the Hisnud, as the youngsters like to say. So Jay says, does bang away mean something different in the US? Well, I always say bang away. We keep banging on this. We keep banging on it. What it means is we keep working at it. We keep banging away at it. That's what it is. We're banging away at something, you know? Like you really want to just splash out, you know? You want to bang away at something. Maybe I'm starting my own little term here. Noah is in the building. Has there been some Magic Leap news that I don't know about? What's going on with Noah? Noah, what's up? How's it going, Noah? And we got a number of people popping up in chat and all of that kind of stuff as well. Okay, so the first thing I did want to get into today is Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Okay, no, that is a Super Nintendo game from a long time ago. No, Zombies Only Live Once. You know what? My dog just started barking, and I think he's going to continue to bark. I'll have to deal with that in a minute here. But let me go ahead and grab Zombies Only Live Once. Let me grab a Zombies Only Live Once trailer. Now, I've talked about Zombies Only Live Once a couple of times here. My dog keeps barking. You know what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to show you guys this trailer for a second. I'm going to run this trailer, and I'm going to let my dog in so he can stop barking. I'll be right back.
Are you even trying? Triple kill!
Okay, so I'm back. Sorry about that. Yeah, my dog, I have this situation and it happens over and over again, and I don't know what to do about this. So I take my son to school. I drop him off at his college at 10 a.m., about 10 a.m., right? Then I'm coming back here and I got to get ready for my show at 11 a.m., and I'm getting back here at like 10:25 a.m. And as soon as I come home, my dog wants to go outside. He wants to take care of his business, right? And so I let him outside, but he doesn't want to come back in. He wants to like stay out there for a while, maybe lay in the sun, chase a couple of squirrels, a couple of birds, or do whatever. And I'm trying to get him back in because I know that he's going to start barking, because my dog, he knows that I'm in this room. And he goes to this area that's over there, and he deliberately starts barking repeatedly over and over again, really loud, because he knows it's going to irritate me and he knows that I'm going to let him in. But the problem is, I'm doing a damn show. I'm doing a show here. How am I going to let my dog in? It causes serious problems. I don't know what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to have to take the doggy out to the woodshed. No, I'm just kidding. I would never do that to my sweet little puppy. Oh, he's such a good doggy. Is he just a good doggy? Yeah, that's my little doggy love talk that was caught on film the other day. Okay, so anyway, let's talk about Zombies Only Live Once. So I've been trying to get into this game a number of different times, and every time I tried to get into the game, it would basically take me into the menu select kind of screen, and then it would crash, and the game just disappeared. Like, it would just disappear. Like, wait a minute, I had this game running, it just disappeared. It did this a number of different times, and I was starting to get to the point where I just was never going to go into this. But I gave it one more shot yesterday, and I did get into it. And damn it, folks, I've got bad news. Zombies Only Live Once is a dud. I'm sorry, it is a dud. I like Game Cooks. I really love Vindicta. I think Vindicta is a great game. I don't get this. I don't get Zombies Only Live Once. I don't understand it. Now, there is some minor good news in relationship to Zombies Only Live Once. The good news is it's $4. It is $3.99. The bad news is, save your $4. Save it. Yes. This is one of the, I don't even know if I could recommend this for 99 cents, much less $3.99. And I hate to do this, man, because like I said, I'm a fan of Game Cooks, but I don't know what they're doing here. So we see on the screen, we see this level where it's like you're on like a dock or something, and there's like green water everywhere, and you're kind of running around on these docks, and then there are these zombies that are running at you, and you could punch them. You have like these blades on your fist. You got these different guns and stuff. But why? But why? I don't know, man. There's nothing to this. It's like you're just, okay, I'm punching a bunch of zombies, I'm shooting them, and then also when I'm shooting them, the guns sometimes make no noise whatsoever. Shirzad Khan City says, I'll just wait for a sale. No, don't even wait for that. This is just, I'm sorry, Game Cooks, you never should have released this, in my opinion. Like, I don't know. This is like a prototype for a game that you were hoping to make. And this is one of those things where it's like me with my Windlands Let's Play. I recorded a Windlands Let's Play. I recorded my audio separately, and I like synced it all together, and I rendered it, and I did all this crap. And then ultimately, I was looking at this Windlands 2 Let's Play that I did, and the video was just too damn choppy at certain points. It was stuttering and stuff, and I just threw the whole entire thing away. I just threw it all away. And that's what you have to sometimes do as a developer, as a creator, as somebody that is involved in this type of stuff. Every once in a while, you might spend 9, 10, 20 hours, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 months on something, and you have to be willing to sometimes just throw the shit away because it'll affect your overall reputation. Like, I had this feeling about Game Cooks. The only thing I ever experienced from them was Vindicta. And I liked Vindicta. And so I gave this, so like when I heard about Zolo, I was like, hell yeah, I want to check this out. Even though I saw the trailer, it didn't really do anything for me. The visual style doesn't, like none of this does anything for me. But I was like, well, I really liked Vindicta, and this is Game Cooks, so I got to check it out. But now they've kind of soured. I just think it's a bad look. I mean, this isn't an absolute travesty. It's not a retrocity, but it's not a good look. So not a fan of Game Cooks, but I mean, not a fan. I'm a fan of Game Cooks. I'm not a fan of Zolo. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch over to our Webby browser window, which I have not activated this since yesterday. And let's just look up Zolo real quick. So Zombies Only Live Once. Yeah, this came out on December 10th. There are no user reviews. Game Cooks is the developer. And the price, like I said, it is $4. That is the good news. But that is really the only good news. I don't get it. If somebody else gets it, explain it to me. I don't get it. This is like, I don't get it. This should be maybe like a free demo or something. I don't know. I don't even know how to validate this. So let's go ahead and look up Vindicta though, because I do think Vindicta is awesome. I'll give Game Cooks a little bit of love here. Yeah, this is Vindicta. Mixed reviews. Get the F out of Dodge. Vindicta is fun, okay? Vindicta is fun. You move through the world like this, kind of sprint vector style. But I honestly feel like it was one of the best sprint vector styles like that type of movement that I've ever felt, because it's almost like you're roller skating through the levels with the greatest of ease, and you're just can I talk? You're roller skating around, and then you pull out your gun, bam, bam, bam. And then you roller skate around and you pull out your gun, bam, bam, bam. And then there's all these little robots that you're shooting. There's like robot spiders and stuff. I liked Vindicta. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it's not the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's not super amazing, but I just felt like it had fun factor. It had good fun factor. I liked it. That is Vindicta. But Zolo, no-lo. Stay away from Zolo. I'm not a fan of Zolo. Get the hell out of Dodge. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say about Zolo. Okay, so that does it for Zolo. Now, what else did we want to get into? Well, there's another major game that just came out. In fact, it came out today. And this is Blade and Sorcery. And this is probably the big game of, well, it's definitely the big game of the day. There are actually a couple of other games that came out today, but I would have to say this is the big one. This is the big one of the day, and I don't know, man. I've got mixed takes on this game, so why don't I go ahead and back out? We can talk about this game. Luckily, I got into this baby last night, and I'm going to tell you why that was lucky. So I'm going to go switch back over here. This is our normal scene over here, our normal setup. Let me get Blade and Sorcery on the video screen, and then I can rip it a new one. No, not necessarily, but you know what? Let's get into some Blade and Sorcery real quick. Okay, so I knew this game was coming out today, and I was super, super curious about the price. Like, what are they going to price this at? And I was like, well, let me get into this because I know it's coming out today, so let me try it. And thank God I did. Thank God I did. You know why? Because when I got on my computer today, I got a message from Steam saying that basically this thing has been revoked. So like the developer Warp Frog, they basically took their ball and they went home with their ball. It's like, you know, when you're playing with kids you're playing with a bunch of kids in the park, and you're playing like two-hand touch with a Nerf football or whatever, and then one kid gets tackled a little too aggressively, and he's like, fuck this, man. I'm taking my ball and I'm going home. That's kind of the way I feel when developers give you a code for something and then they revoke it. Now, I know it's not necessarily that. And I know sometimes what they do is they'll give you a code for like a beta testing kind of a thing. And then obviously when the game is out, there's no reason to give you like a beta testing code anymore because now they have the real full version. But they don't give you that. You know, they give you this beta testing version so that you can play it until it's released, and then it's kind of like tough titty, bro. Now, if you really want this game, you got to go buy it. So I was really lucky and blessed that I went into this game last night and kind of ran it through its paces again. I wanted to remind myself about it because I knew a lot of people were going to be talking about it today. I knew it was going to be hyped up, and so I wanted to get back in there and try it. Now, SSH, Turtle is in the building. There is a turtle in the building. I love Turtle because you know what? Takes care of the Discord server in a major way. She's basically like our moderator in the Discord server, really takes care of it. So nice seeing Turtle up in the building. Okay, but anyway, going back to Blade and Sorcery. Played this baby yesterday, and the physics are still really cool. I really do like the physics. They're nice, enjoyable. I love the physics of this game. I like it when I can take my sword and I smack it up against the wall and it doesn't just go right through the wall. You know, it actually makes legitimate contact with the wall. I take my sword, I hit it on the desk, it makes legitimate contact with the desk. I can take my sword and take out my dagger and I can kind of clang them against each other. I love that, and it works really well, and that is the beauty of this thing here. The problem is there really isn't a lot else that is going on here that I can really recommend. Okay, now, do you have the ability to shoot out electricity from your hands? Yes, you do. And if you really want to be Anakin, and if you really want to feel unlimited power, Anakin, and if you really want to do this, and you really want to shock the shit out of Mace Windu, you can do that. But after a couple of minutes, it gets, it's kind of played out. It is a nice electricity effect. I'm being too loud. Am I being super loud? Well, the volume is at the same volume it's always been. Maybe you have your volume a little bit too high. My bad. Oh, I get it. I'm being too loud. Shh. Okay, that's what it is. I'm being too loud there. But yeah, so you have this electricity ability that you can do as far as magic. You can zap stuff, and it looks really cool, especially in these trailers, like right there. I mean, that looks super cool, right? You also have the ability to slow time down a little bit. You also have the ability to take a dagger and go right through somebody's eyeball socket, come out their earlobe, and then pull it back out. But the only way you're ever going to see it look the way it does in these trailers is if you just activated the slow-mo right before that happens. So a lot of this like fancy schmancy stuff that is going on in this trailer, you don't really notice that in real time, to be honest. This is a carefully crafted trailer to make it all look beautiful. Now, the bottom line here, yeah, Greg's VR is unlimited power. Yeah, you do feel that unlimited power there for a minute. Anakin, feel your anger, Anakin. Yes, feel that anger. You do feel that for a little bit with the electricity, which is kind of cool. That is kind of cool there. But ultimately, the bottom line with this game, it's not a wave shooter. It's a wave melee game. And I guess kind of like a wave shooter, if you want to shoot people with electricity, or if you want to use the bow and arrow is not good. The electricity is, gets boring after a while. So really you get back to the actual melee. Look at that, going right into that guy's head. Like, see, that's the thing. This trailer is going to sell copies of this game. Some people love violence, they love blood, especially us Americans, right? You Euros know what it's all about. Us Americans, we love our blood, we love our violence, we love our guns. It's kind of a stereotype, but in a way it might be slightly true. Like over in Europe, like if I went on a trip to Italy right now, and if I was staying in a hotel in Italy, and I had some commercials on the TV screen, I might see some naked stuff going on, but we don't have that here in America. No. We don't want to show anybody any boobs or anything like that. Instead, we want to show them decapitations. Yeah, we want to show you all decapitations and bloody, bloody murder. But, oh, God forbid you actually show twig and berries or any other thing on the screen. That is verboten. Yeah, we're really uptight over here in America, but we love our violence. And so this trailer may sell quite a few copies of this game. And the good news is this game is 20 bucks. Okay, I'm very glad that it's 20 bucks and it isn't 25 and it isn't 30 and it isn't 35 or anything like that, because you just never know with these things. Sometimes these developers get an inflated sense of how good their game is, and they've got people on their Discord server just telling them how they're the greatest thing since sliced bread, and then they might raise their price a little bit higher than normal. So at least that didn't happen. The bottom line here is, do you really want a wave melee game with artificial intelligence enemies that are only relatively mediocre? Everything that is going on in this game, I honestly wish it was in another game. I wish everything that they had in this game was transferred to Vanishing Realms or transferred to Carnage Chronicles. I wish the melee and all of this was transferred to Skyrim or some other game, because Blade and Sorcery, the bottom line is, it's a wave melee game. You go into these arenas and you can choose easy, you can choose very easy, medium, hard, very hard, and then you choose wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, and then so just waves of enemies come at you, and it's just, can you survive long enough to get through wave 1? And then if you get a lot of damage, you got to grab yourself a little magical potion. They're set on certain tables, different places. You pop the little thing off. You drink a little magical potion. It revives your hit points, and you get some health back, and then maybe you can survive to wave 2, and you can survive to wave 3. But the truth of the matter is, ultimately, this is kind of a tech demo, is really what it's a very nice tech demo. It's a very elaborate tech demo. There's a lot of stages to it. But if you think this is Gorn for adults, it kind of is. But Gorn has something special about it that I don't think this game does have. Now, what it does have is it has physics. The physics are pretty good. But what I'm ultimately trying to say here is I think there's better things you can do with your $20. For example, I think you could take your $20 and you could grab 10 hearts. You could take your $20 and you could grab Transpose. You could take your $20 and you could have Arca's Path. And some people might say, oh my God, are you really going to compare Arca's Path, a game that looks like a mobile game where you're rolling a crappy little ball around and it's just kind of a Marble Madness game, are you going to compare that directly with something so visceral, man, and so bloody, and oh my God, that spear went right through his head? Like, this is really adult, man. You're going to compare that goofy little kid game with something that is so adult and so visceral? Yes, I am. Because ultimately, Arca's Path is something that you can play that has legitimate value and like it has polish and stuff. And this is a little bit janky. I just, like, this doesn't have a story or something. Where's a story? Where's the wizard on the hill that is going to tell me that I need to learn to find the 7 scrolls of the magic serpents to restore health and unity to the land of Mysteria, and that I need to kill the sacred Dark Knight Zephyrer or whatever? Where's the story? There's no story. It's a melee game. You're just kind of slicing and dicing people in their heads, and honestly, after a couple of hours, you're going to be bored of this. So that's kind of my take. Maybe a little bit harsh, maybe a little bit too harsh. It's not terrible, and it's only 20 bucks, so I'll give it a little bit of love there, but that's my kind of thoughts on that. Okay, so let's go ahead over here. Kev Gret says, why is Anthony talking like a Valley girl? No, you know what, man? No, that little voice is, I'm trying to do my best impression of Muscle Man from the regular show. I love Muscle Man from the regular show. I just love that character. And he's kind of like, no, bro, you just don't understand, bro. That's not the way you do it, bro. No, man. That's kind of Muscle Man from the regular show. That's kind of what I'm trying to do. Might sound like a Valley girl, and sometimes it doesn't work out so well. So, sometimes it's terrible. Okay, Kevgret says, In Death has no story, but I played it for 12 hours so far. See, In Death has beautiful beautiful gameplay. It has sublime gameplay that you keep coming back to it over and over and over again. The only thing you're going to come back to this game is if you just want to get visceral, baby. Let's get visceral, visceral. You want to get visceral. I mean, that's really the only thing that you can come back to. Now, Julio Garcia is checking in. One of the devs at Warp Frog has just checked in, and he's saying, are you really crying over $20? And I'm just kidding. Julio is not one of the devs. Or is he? Or is he? No, I'm not crying about it. I just want to be honest with people about it because I think this game has gotten too much hype. I really do. And I think there's a lot of people that are on Reddit, you know, they're on the various subreddits, and they see all the hype about this Blade and Sorcery, and they're probably thinking like this is some really, really big deal. And it's like, Blade and Sorcery, man, it's a really big game. This is a huge banger, man. And they run out and buy it. Now, the good news is they can refund it on Steam. But the bad news is they'll probably be entertained for about 2 hours, and it's actually the third hour where it all kind of falls apart. But that's my thought on Blade and Sorcery. Don't want to spend too much time on that. Okay, why don't we go into something else? Why don't we go into our Game of the Year discussion? Because we've already been going for a while here. We're running out of daylight. So I got to get into the Game of the Year discussion. And we wanted to talk about September 2018, a beautiful month, an incredible month. September 2018, a lot of power, baby. You want to talk about power? That is September 2018. But before we go into September 18, we got to recap real quick. We've got to recap August 2018, which we just covered the other day. So, first of all, let's take a look at what were the best games of August. Let's take a quick recap right here. We only had 4 contenders in the month of August. It was a little bit lackluster, to be completely honest with you. It was kind of the calm before the storm, if you will. And our best VR games of August 2018, Electronauts arrived on August 7th, Firewall 0 Hour on August 28th, Torn on August 28th, and Bow to Blood on August 28th. And 2 of those games are PSVR only. So for some of you PC VR guys, it's just kind of a craptacular month because all you got was Electronauts and Torn. That was all you got. Kind of lame. So now let's go ahead and recap where we are in terms of games of the month up and through August. What are the games of the month? Let's recap that real quick, and then we'll get into September. And so here is our list. Best VR games of the month for 2018. January, Primordian. February is In Death. March, Wipeout VR. April, Rolling Line. May is Beat Saber. June is a virtual reality. July, Pixel Ripped, baby. Yeah, I know. There's a lot of people that are going to hate me for this. They're going to be like, Anthony, you didn't pick Hellblade? Are you freaking out of your mind? I'm unsubbing right now. I am unsubbing right now. You did not pick Hellblade. You are out of your cotton picking mind. What the hell is wrong with you? Bad, 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 bad. Well, you know what? For me, bro, Pixel Ripped 1989. See, here's my thing about Hellblade and Pixel Ripped. Hellblade is beautiful, but I don't feel like I'm controlling anything. I feel like I'm watching Hellblade more than I'm playing it. And so I still like Hellblade a hell of a lot. It's still a great game. It's still a good puzzle game, and it has incredible cinematics and all of that. And so I still like all of that. But Pixel Ripped, remember I told you guys it was a photo finish. It was like 2 horses that were coming down, and like the one nose of that horse and the nostril of that horse is slightly in front of that. That's basically the way it was for Pixel Ripped 1989 and Hellblade for me. And I went Pixel Ripped because Hellblade, I feel like Hellblade is playing itself almost. I feel like I feel like I don't have a lot of agency in Hellblade, in my personal opinion. Puzzles were cool, visuals were cool, but I give the nod to Pixel Ripped, and that's the way it goes. Okay, August, so my game of the month, August, Firewall 0 Hour, and I pretty much give it to Firewall based on the 3D audio alone, just the 3D audio. And I challenged everybody yesterday, tell me some games that have incredible 3D audio that really put you into that world where the 3D audio will literally scare the shit out of you, and it'll startle you when someone opens a door right behind you and starts going and starts blasting the shit out of you. Firewall Zero Hour, man, the 3D audio scared the living crap out of me. So, you know, and plus it's a great game as well. Excuse me. So I give it to Firewall Zero Hour for the month of August. Now, one other thing I want to mention too is when we're talking about Game of the Year, it's not like we're only going to limit it to the games of the month. No, we're going to have our entire list of about 30 games, and any of those games can win it. So just because Hellbalde wasn't the game of the month for July doesn't mean it has no chance at Game of the Year. So I just want to kind of remind you guys of that as well. Okay, so here we go. Where are we going now? So now let's get into the September. You know, let's get into the September, the games of the month for September. And where do we start it off? Well, I actually have to grab my notes here. I got to remember here. Oh my God, we are going to start it off with a doozy of a doozy. And so the first game of September is the beautiful, it is the fabulous, it is the glorious Windlands 2. Windlands 2 by SciTech Games. It arrived on September 12th. Now, of course, this is, well, it was an Oculus Rift exclusive. And I know how that can rub certain people very, very wrongly. And so there's certain people out there, despite the fact that Windlands 2 may be one of the best VR games of 2018, there are certain people out there that will not buy this game. They will not buy it for political reasons. And you know, I respect that. I actually do respect that. I like that. If you're gonna get up on a podium and say, man, these exclusives are killing the VR gaming industry, man. If you're going to get up on a podium and if that's really your platform, that these exclusives are ruining VR gaming and it's just a blight on the industry and we've got to stop this, we've got to stop these exclusives in their tracks, we've got to kill this bullshit. If that's your take, you really shouldn't buy this. So I actually... I'm cool with that. You know, I'm cool with your decision on that, but god damn are you missing out on an incredible game. I tweeted out not too long ago, and I should actually have this on my little tweet window, but I don't. But I tweeted out that Windlands 2 is in my top 5, period. This is in my top 5 for 2018. Like, of every game released in 2018, this is in my top 5. I just did a Let's Play of this, and I was hoping to have the Let's Play so you guys can watch it. Unfortunately, the video just came out too herky-jerky and choppy, and too many... Some of it came out perfectly fine. It was perfectly fine, and then a minute later, it was all garbage. So I just had to throw the whole thing away. And I will be doing Let's Plays more in the future, but I got to figure out a different way to record it so it's not all herky and jerky. And my Ryzen, wherever it is, I'm about to construct a brand new PC with my Ryzen and new memory, new motherboard, and all of that. So hopefully that'll change all of that. But Windlands 2 is a dream of a dream. It puts you into the world. You've got this world, this grand world that is surrounding you, and you can move through this world with the greatest of ease once you learn how to fly through the trees like a breeze in the leaves, you know, whatever else you want to rhyme. It is a beautiful thing. You can float through this world like, I mean, it truly is awesome because you can go and you grab that and you let go real quick. You just kind of flick yourself up and you float around. It's a beautiful thing. And then you fight these boss monsters, and some of the battles with these boss monsters are the most epic battles I've had in VR so far. Like, seriously. Because what'll happen with a lot of these boss monsters is the boss monster is in a certain area, right? And you have to flick onto these trees all around it. You flick yourself up into the air. As you're flying up into the air, you grab your bow and you go like this and you go boom and you let that shit fly. Now you're still floating in the air as all of this is happening. You're floating up in the air. You don't have a tree to grab onto because you're going like this and you're letting go, and then zzz, your little arrow hits one of the red spots on the boss and you hear the ksh. You hear it break the glass of the little red part on the boss, and now you're falling down to your death, but at the last second, bam, you find a little green tree that is right over there at the last second, and you grab onto it, and it saves your ass in the last second, and you have these epic ass battles with these bosses where you're going all around the boss and it's shooting shit at you and you barely dodge it and you grab onto another tree and you freaking fling your little bow at it. And I felt like so much of a badass in a lot of these encounters with this boss. I felt like I was in a true world, a world of discovery. There's so many little nooks and crannies in this world. There's like these little collectibles that you can find in different spots. Now, is Windlands 2 all that and a bag of chips? Like, is there anything wrong with Windlands 2? Yeah, of course. There's plenty wrong with Windlands 2. First of all, the graphics are a little bit basic. You know, this is not winning Graphical Powerhouse of the Year award. That's for damn sure. The other thing is the characters, like there's voice work and characters. They kind of like make a little story in this game. And it's not very good. The voice work isn't very good. The characters don't look very good. The story isn't very compelling. It's kind of just there. It's like, you know, it's there. It is what it is, but it doesn't really add anything to it. I haven't even touched the multiplayer. I've never played the multiplayer, so I'm already putting this into my top 5 of the year, no question about it, and I've never even played the multiplayer, but I'm all about Windlands 2. I love this game. I think it is incredible. I think it is easily one of the best games of the year. Like it's not even close, in my opinion. This game kills so many other games, in my opinion, but, you know, again, opinions are like what? Opinions are like beep. Everybody has them. Opinions are the cheapest commodity, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so that is Windlands 2. Absolutely love it. That arrived on September 12th. Let's get to another one, though. Another one that I really love. And here's one, I think it is underrated, and I think so many people are sleeping on this game, and it is a travesty beyond travesty. Now, what am I talking about here? I'm talking about Transference. Transference, not transference, although you may feel some fear when you're playing Transference. Transference. I gotta say Transference. I gotta say it like 1,000 times because I'm always thinking Transference, but it's Transference. You're transferring to a new place, a new location. Transference. Okay, so here's the deal with Transference, guys. My take on this game is this is a Black Mirror episode come to life. You know, this is a Black Mirror episode that has come to life. You got the mad scientist guy. He's having problems with his wife and kids. You know, he's working too damn much. There's his wife. She's pissed off. His kid is running around. I don't know what's going on with that. You're transferring between these different time periods. So much color is all over the screen, but different kind of hues of color. Lots of like really interesting visual style is going on in this game. Now, you want to talk about 3D audio. Okay, I did say Firewall, 0 Hour, some of the best 3D audio I've ever heard. Well, this one is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Transference is in the building when it comes to 3D audio. It might not be Firewall 0 Hour, but it is pretty damn good with the 3D audio. I thought the audio was very good in this game. Is it a relatively short game? Yeah, it is. Am I going to hold that against it? No, I'm not. Did I actually finish this game? And it's one of the few I've ever finished in my entire life. Yes, that is partly, yeah, that is true as well. Does that affect my opinion of this game? Hell no. Hell to the no, it doesn't. But the thing about Transference is, like, one of the things I really love about this game is you're going through this game, and every once in a while it'll put like this digital character into the world with you, kind of like Minority Report or something like that. And it's like a special effect, and it's like the digital character is there, and it's kind of like moving around, but it's like, you know, like it's kind of Matrix style, like it's barely there, and it's kind of going in and out, and it's not really there, but it's kind of there. And it's the same thing with like the visuals and everything in the background. And then there's some stuff in this game that will scare the living daylights out of you. And I think that's probably one of the biggest problems of this game, is too many people out there don't have cojones. No, but seriously though, there's a lot of people out there that are just a little bit too, you're scaredy cats. Like, get over it, guys. Get over it. If you guys don't play any of these horror games, you're missing out on some of the best stuff. And this, I wouldn't put this into the pure horror category. See, that's the kind of that's going on with the level. I really love that stuff. But there's a lot, and there's like things that are flickering in and out of existence. See, I'm also a big believer as well. Like, maybe this hit me in a particular way because I kind of wonder about this so-called reality that we're in right now. Like, the more I get into virtual reality and I see things going on in virtual reality, the more I start to wonder about this actual reality that we're in right now, and whether or not it's actually like a legitimately solid construct. And that is something for you to ponder with Elon Musk the next time you're smoking a blunt. It's not something to talk about on this show right now, but I got to tell you that that's one of the reasons I'm such a big fan of Black Mirror, and I'm also such a big fan of Transference. I think it is one of the most underrated games out there. It saddens me deep down in my heart that I go to the Steam page and I don't see like hundreds of reviews saying very positive, because that's the way it should be. Much love to SpectreVision, much props to SpectreVision. I had to deal with Uplay for this crap. Like, I had to deal with Uplay to enjoy this, but you know what? It was worth it because I experienced a really cool freaking experience. It was relatively short, but it was dialed in. It is an experience that I had in 2018 that I will cherish. Transference was awesome. Much love. Okay, that arrived on September 18th. Okay, you know what? I'm going to have to make an executive decision, guys, because I've got 4 more games in the month of September. Apologies, my throat is killing me. I've got 4 more games, but we don't have enough show for 4 more games. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split it in half. I'm going to cover 1 more game, and so we will have to do the games of September tomorrow as well. So we'll do the second half tomorrow. So let's get into the third game. The third game of September, and this one is definitely not as celebrated as the first 2. In fact, some of you might be like, what the F? Really? You're going to put this game in there? Yes, I am. Okay, so the third game in the month of September is Blind by Tiny Bull Studios. Okay, now, let's be honest with ourselves right now. Is Blind... does Blind legitimately have a chance to win Game of the Year? Hell no. Hell no. It doesn't even have a chance to win Game of September. It doesn't. But part of the thing that I wanted to do with taking this month by month is highlight the best stuff that came out in this month. And while Blind is not winning Game of the Year, and Blind is not winning Game of September, not even close, I still feel like this thing is underrated. I feel like a lot of people swept this thing under the rug. I feel like this game got nowhere near the amount of credit that it probably should have gotten. Does it have its share of issues? Yes, it does. It definitely has its share of issues, but I also think it did some stuff really, really well. I love the voice work. Like, see that little record player thing over there? There's this Polygon guy that is in this game. There he is right there. He's on the piano over there. And I love this guy's voice. I love how he says, "No, Gene, you simply don't understand, Gene." I love the voice work of that guy. I love that character. I have not finished Blind. Is it a bit annoying how you have to hit something every 5 seconds to see where the hell you're going? Yes, it is. I mean, the game isn't a great... Well, I mean, it's not a great game. It's a good game. It's a solid game. I think Blind is better than a lot of people give it credit for. And so I just kind of wanted to highlight it, give it a little bit of love. Okay, so that is Blind. So the 3 games we're talking about in September for today: Windlands 2 on September 12th, Transference on September 18th, and Blind on September 18th. And we got 3 more games, but we'll get into them tomorrow. But what we can do real quick before we bounce out of here is we can go ahead and bounce over to our web browser window here right quick. And let's check some of the Steam pages for some of these games I've just been talking about. For example, Windlands 2. Here's one of the biggest mistakes: SciTech Games. SciTech Games. There's a problem, SciTech. This logo. See this logo? This logo looks exactly like Windlands, but you just added a 2 on the end of it. That is a mistake, my friend. This logo should look different. The background should look different. Something about it should look different. It should immediately jump off the... Like, I should never make the mistake that this is Windlands 1, but I could easily make that mistake by looking at this logo. You guys messed up on that. That is one mistake they made with Windlands 2. But here is the Steam page. Positive. 46 reviews. It hit Steam on November 15th. Remember, this was way late. It was an Oculus Rift exclusive for a while. A lot of people holding it against them. It's unfortunate. Of course, at the same time, no one put a gun to their head and forced them to take Oculus's money or their co-advertising or whatever else was thrown into the mix. Now, Windlands 2 is $30. Not a cheap game, but straight top 5. Like, no question. Straight top 5. If you don't believe this is top 5, you haven't played it long enough. That's my personal opinion on that. Okay, so that is Windlands 2. Big time fan of that puppy. Okay, now let's look up Transference. Transference. Okay, so Transference is $25. Not super duper cheap, but very positive on recent reviews, mostly positive on overall reviews. $25. It says developer Ubisoft, publisher Ubisoft, but really Spectravision. Spectravision is a developer. Ubisoft, I believe, handled publishing duties. Now, there may have been a few producers from Ubisoft that like helped Spectravision out a little bit, but this is basically a Spectravision joint right here. And, you know, looking at the visuals, I mean, look at this pixelated monster thing that comes at you, and it might look kind of corny in this particular screenshot, but I guarantee you when this thing is barreling at you 100 miles an hour down a creepy ass hallway with the 3D audio the way it is, and the 3D audio really adds a hell of a lot more to this experience, that thing will freak you out. And there's a very early moment in the game where that thing freaks you out. And I think a lot of people, they get into Transference, they're playing it very, very early on. They have a freak out moment with that thing, and they don't play it no more because they can't handle it, because they need to grow some cojones, baby. Okay, let's switch over to this. I love the visuals. I love the lighting. I love, you know, the hues, the purples, the neons, the colorations of everything. Like, look at that. That is dope. You know, that is cool. That is like a horror flick. I love the different time periods and how the rooms look different. And you really feel, you know what? I played this game for I don't know how many hours. I feel like I lived in that house for a little bit. Like, I know where the kitchen is. I know where the dining room is. I know where the living room is. I know where the bathroom is. I know where the kids' room. I feel like I've been in this house. I know this house. That is the sign of a good game. The other thing about a sign of a good game is you're playing the game, and you know, you've been playing it for a couple of days, but you're like visiting your mom, or like you're in some other place, and you're still thinking about the game, and you want to get back in the game, and you're thinking about the story of the game, and you're thinking about the characters of the game. That is a sign of a good game, and I felt that with Transference. I really you'll see a character will appear, and they're kind of digitalized, and it's like kind of Matrix, kind of like Minority Report a little bit, and it's like, you know, and there's little pieces of them that aren't quite there all the way, but they're interacting with you. I thought that was really cool, and you know, just a cool game. Like, love the visuals, love a lot to do with Transference. Really, really like this one. Like that right there, like I love those parts where he's like talking to you and then he like disappears and you can kind of like walk right through him and everything. Okay, that is Transference. All right. And then the other one, let's just go into Blind real quick. We'll check out Blind Steam page really quick. Hey, here's a major sell, folks. Like, this is perfect timing. If you want to see why Blind is a bit underrated, it is $15. It's 40% off. Now, the one thing I will say, Tiny Bull Studios, my recommendation, the standard price for this probably should be $19.99. I think this is one of these games that you could put into the same kind of basket with Tin Hearts, with Transpose, with a lot of other $20 games that are really solid, but this is going for $25, but now it's 40% off. You can grab it for a 15 spot. Only 7 reviews. That's really disappointing. You know, like, this is one of the tragedies where this could be a straight up failure. And Tiny Bull Studios, like, what if Tiny Bull Studios goes out of business and they actually, like, this is not a crappy ass indie game that somebody put together in their garage in their spare time while they were trying to learn Unity. Like, Tiny Bull Studios is a legitimate development studio with like legitimate programmers that know what the hell they're doing. There's like a real story in this game. There's good sound design in this game. There's good voice work. This is not a throwaway game. It's unfortunate that it's kind of been thrown away. Of course, you know, at the end of the day, we got to make choices, right? And if somebody told me, what are the 4 best games of September? This isn't going to be on that list. And so, you know, I kind of understand it from that standpoint. But, you know, I thought they did a pretty good job here with Blind, and I think it's kind of been short shrift a little bit here. You know, especially like the voice work, the audio. I think there were some good things done here as far as Blind goes. But yeah, that is Blind. So that's pretty much what I've got, folks, for today's show. And you know what I haven't done is checked news at all. I don't know anything about news. Like I said, Half-Life 2 VR or Half-Life VR or Half-Life 3 or the Vive Cosmos, all of that could have came out today and I'd have no idea. But you know what, before we go to news, let me go ahead and go back to chat and let's see what some people may have been talking about some of these games. I'm going to scroll back a little bit here. I want to see if anybody was talking about Windlands. Man, I got to go way the hell back. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, 10-6 says, this is just Anthony's list of his favorite games, right? It's really not based on any real data based on his previous conversation from what I gathered. Yeah, well I'm doing, this is VR365 Game of the Year. You know, so who's going to do it? The guy next door? No, it's going to be me. I'm VR365. So yeah, this is what we're doing here. Now, what I will say though, is in our Discord server, we're going to try to put it together. So once we have all of the games, once we've gone through all of the months, we're going to have about 40 games. And we're going to have everybody that is on our Discord server, like, you will get an individual vote. If you get into our Discord server, you will have a vote, and it's going to be like the People's Choice Awards. So you guys can pick your game of the year. I'll be picking mine as well. So basically in all these different categories, we'll have the People's Choice Awards, and we'll have my award. Yeah, Kev Gret says Job will do it. Yeah, this is the Job Awards, basically. It's the Job Awards. Okay, Jay says, Windlands 1 was fun, but it did seem like a demo for something more fully fleshed out. And Hussein X says, it's why I'm skipping Windlands 1 due to graphics. Much better in Windlands 2. Let's see, Main Fan says, Windlands 2 took me 6 hours to beat. I don't think that's bad. Like 10-6 says 6 hours, that's it? I don't think that's like 6 hours of incredible enjoyment. Nah, I'm good with that. Like 6 hours, it's taking me a lot longer than 6 hours. I'm just not as good as Main Fan in some of this stuff. And Shirzad Khan City, he's not a fan of my Muscle Man voice, to be sure. Okay, let's see. I'm going through. I'm just trying to see if there's any other comments on Windlands 2 before I move past that. Okay, so now we got to Transference. Okay, so Shirzad Khan City says Transference seemed like a huge demo to me. I returned it. Wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. Shirzad Khan City, you are wrong. No, I'm just kidding. Everybody can have their own way to do it. And Main Fan says he's still saying it wrong. Hell yes, I will continue to say it wrong. Contractors, yeah, I'll say that. I say all kinds of shit wrong. That is going to be the reality of it. Paradise Decay does throw me a little bone here, and he says audio was well done in Transference. Hussein X says I will buy Transference on sale. I like to try different things. And Jim Hall says, how can you say contractors wrong? I don't know. You could say everything wrong, probably. Yeah. Some funny stuff in chat here. Okay, so I'm continuing to scroll down. I just want to say, okay, Crunchy said, you just talked up the game and then said, I had to deal with Uplay for this crap. Yeah, it's not crap. I'm kind of joking with that. Okay, continuing to go through some of these comments here. Okay, so Paradise Decay says, I didn't like Blind. I got stuck. I did get stuck as well. I got stuck in Blind. In fact, right now, if I went back into Blind right now, I believe I'm stuck somewhere on some kind of certain puzzle that I was on. You know, one thing I've found, though, when it comes to being stuck on games, if you go away from the game for a couple of weeks and you just completely forget about that game, and then you come back to it, there's something weird about coming back to a game after a while where you've been stuck. It's almost like you'll see it from brand new, fresh eyes, and then you get past where you were stuck. That actually happened to me with Blind. I didn't play it for the longest time. Like, I played it when it first came out, and then I didn't play it again. And then there was one day where I randomly said, hey, why don't I just go back into Blind? And I started playing it again, and I was stuck on this puzzle for the longest time, and when I went right back into it, I solved it. It was, I was in the room where you have all those recorders, like there's 4 little recorders that you find, and there's like a grandfather clock and stuff. See, what I didn't realize was spoilers. So if you don't want any Blind spoilers, go ahead and like mute this for the next minute or so. But when you get into that room where there's all the recordings and there's the grandfather clock, for whatever reason, it didn't register to me that it had something to do with the grandfather clock. Like, I just didn't. I thought it had something to do with like playing the recordings in a certain order and then it would unlock something, but it had to do with the grandfather clock, and I didn't realize that. And then it was like, boom, a little light bulb went off of my head. I realized it was the grandfather clock, and I figured it out. But yeah, I've noticed that if you're stuck in a game, forget about it for 2 weeks and then try coming back to it. You might get past where you were stuck, and you don't even have to go through a playthrough or a walkthrough or anything like that. Okay, let's see. Ray Pope says, Blind kind of reminds me of The Assembly from the trailer. The Assembly is a solid game also and well worth checking out, ahead of its time for an old game. So yeah, so we pretty much went through. I'm scrolling through chat a little bit more. Okay, Espefogel, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I'm sure I'm murdering it in a major way, but it's E-I-S-P-F-O-G-E-L. Espefogel says, I wish Transference would support the moves. I want to play like Red Matter, but I can't because I have to use a DualShock 4, just like the Persistence. Yeah, I absolutely feel you on that one. And you know, that's kind of an example of how amazing Red Matter is, and how such an amazing job that Vertical Robot did bringing that game to PlayStation VR. It is not a watered down experience. It is legitimately like 87% of the PC VR experience. It's an amazing job they did, and that is a great example from the standpoint that Transference and Persistence, you don't use the moves. You can't use the moves, and you're kind of wondering why. Okay, Jay says, at Paradise Decay, VR marketing is to blame too. If I didn't watch things like this, I wouldn't hear about half of these games. Oculus and Vive need to promote these games and support devs. Now, that is a cool comment by Jace right there, and I feel really good about that kind of comment because I feel like if nothing else, like if I'm not achieving anything with this show, the one thing I might be doing is opening some people's eyes to certain games that they never ever considered. And maybe they'll get them and they won't like them and they'll be like, what the hell was Anthony talking about? But I also got to believe that there is a handful of people out there that watch one of my shows and I'm ranting and raving about something like Transference, or I'm ranting and raving about Windlands 2, and they're like, wow, I never really thought Windlands 2 would be that great. And then they randomly try it and it's their freaking favorite VR game ever. That would be super awesome. And I know that has to happen occasionally, you know. It has to happen every once in a blue moon, I'd have to imagine. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much what is going on over there on chat. Prey, yeah, Prey is available today. Typhoon Hunter, or whatever it's called, it is out there today. It is available, and I believe it's free if you have the Moon Crash DLC and you have Prey. Of course, it's kind of like jumping through hoops to do all of that type of stuff, unless you already own Prey. Like, I was actually talking with my good buddy, remember Erwin X? I've mentioned him a number of times. He is an absolute master at Sorriento VR. Put like 300 hours in it, has some great YouTube vids on Sorriento VR where he kind of shows off like his incredible talent at that game. He plays an incredible amount of Skyrim VR. He's running like hundreds and hundreds of mods. And I was talking to him. He was saying that he's going to get into Prey because he played the flat version of Prey, really loved it, has the Moon Crash DLC, so it's free for him. So if you're in that kind of a situation, yeah, absolutely, check out Prey, check it out, see what it's like. I definitely am not going to be getting into that. I don't have Prey and I don't have Moon Crash, so it would be like a $35 expense for me. Okay, I am going to bounce back over to our Webby browser. And right before we check out of this show, let's go ahead and check out the news. So let's try to check out the brand new news. Let me go ahead and refresh this real quick. Okay, so interesting stories here. A patent sell for the Osterhout Design Group planned for January. Okay, so guys, do you realize that this Osterhout Design Group, this ODG, they really are kind of like the true developers of HoloLens. Now, I don't know exactly how that all works out, but I do believe that if these people didn't exist, like if Osterhout Design Group did not exist, I don't think we would have HoloLens. But I don't know the full entire story of all of that, so I'm kind of talking out of my ass right here. But ODG, old dirty bastard, ODG was founded in 1999 by Ralph Osterhout, whose previous work included the PVS-7 night vision goggles, blah, 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 featured in a couple of James Bond films. But I want to try to see if they start talking about HoloLens at some point, because I really believe like Microsoft worked with them or something. Somehow they're related to HoloLens. But anyway, ODG may be dead before mass shipping their R9 augmented reality glasses. And they've kind of been almost like some of the leaders in augmented reality in certain ways. Like a lot of people will say, you know, if you get their R9 AR glasses, it's better than any of the other, like it's better than Magic Leap, it's better than HoloLens. Some people will say that. I've never tried it, so I don't know. Okay, Odin is a 4K Steam VR headset from Russia, launching in summer 2019. Odin, gee, what an interesting thing there. So maybe, you know, your dreams are solved, ladies and gentlemen. Here's your brand new headset that you've all been dreaming about, and it's from a Russian company. How awesome is that? Yeah, you need some customer support? Take a trip to Moscow. But yeah, so it's a 4K headset. This pre-model is aimed at businesses and developers and will ship with a 3 Dolph Lundgren controller. That sounds kind of craptacular. A refined consumer version with 6 DOF controllers is planned for summer 2019. Okay, so I don't know anything about this, but that is Odin, the thunder god, right? Okay, best Rift games, they still go through that. Borderlands 2 VR dev explained why the game ditched co-op. Okay, let's take a look at this. Can you guys believe this, man? Borderlands 2 VR, man. No, I'm not doing that voice now. But Borderlands 2 VR comes out this Friday, right? Like, this is maybe the biggest game of the fourth quarter from a VR standpoint in a certain way. It comes out this Friday. Okay, so in a recent gameplay commentary video with IGN, Borderlands 2 VR lead designer Jacob Lavender talked a bit about why the team took out co-op out of the game. What we do want is that when you pick up Borderlands 2 VR, it's still the same story, but it's completely different gameplay, he explained. And we wanted to give you that experience that's like, hey, I've played through this, but now it's different, it's new, it's fresh. That's why the game is fitted with new features like the BAMF system that slows down time to allow you to get in extra shots at your enemies. And with single player, that was one of those things that gave us the opportunity to put in things like the slow down time thing and teleportation, and to really pump those up to 11 and make it as strong as you could possibly be, to make you complete total badass, blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of why they did that. Now the question will be, though, is when this finally comes to PC VR, will they bring back the co-op, or are they going to stick to their explanation here and there will be no co-op on the PC VR version? Because we know that PC VR gamers will freaking riot about this if there's no co-op, because I'm sure everybody in PC VR world believes that there's no co-op on Borderlands 2 VR because PS4 just simply doesn't have the horsepower for that. That is what they believe. The OG, the vanilla PS4, because all PSVR games have to run on both the OG vanilla PS4 and the Pro. And so their argument is, look, they couldn't have done co-op even if they wanted to do it, not on the vanilla PS4. That's why there's no co-op. And so they're fully expecting co-op if this arrives on PC VR in, say, May, June, or July of 2019. But according to this dev, maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, so anyway, guys, that's going to go ahead and do it. We've been running for a while here. I need some water really bad. My throat is dry as can be. So I'm starting to lose my voice here. So let me go ahead and put on my little outro logo. So basically, here is what I'm going to say. Yeah. And Jim Hall says, I also haven't mentioned hitting the like button. Yes, I have failed you, Anakin. Anakin, I have failed you. I have the higher ground, Anakin. Anakin, I've got the higher ground. I've failed you, Anakin. Democracy, Anakin, democracy. So I have failed my boy Jim Hall. Yeah, so everybody, please subscribe to the show, like the show, send me $1 million. That's all I ask. It's very simple. It's very easy. It's not very complicated. Palmer Lucky, are you out there? Are you out there? Send me some money. I would love it. But anyway, that's going to go ahead and do it for this particular episode of VR365. I will see everybody tomorrow on Wednesday. Will Job be in the building? It's possible. Wednesday, there usually is a lot of background noise and that sort of thing. So definitely join us for that. It will be exciting. So we'll get into that tomorrow, but that's going to go ahead and do it. See you guys. Take it easy. Later.